What is up, people? Glenn Lentz here. Welcome back to the 12 days of plug and plays. How you guys doing? I hope you're enjoying it this far. I'm having a lot of fun doing all of these. It's been a lot of work. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit interesting and a little perplexing, but what the fuck am I even saying? All these things are perplexing. We're going to talk about this. It's the Coleco plug and play. Now, what is this exactly? The Coleco Hand-to-Hand video game system plug and play. And man, I should feel special and privileged because I got this new in the fucking box. I think my grandma got me this. Like, she got it in a basket of, like, St. Vincent's shit. And I just remember going over there one day and she's like, hey, there's stuff in this box, you want it? And I saw this, I'm like, holy shit. And I think from there, me and my brother-in-law actually played this and kind of made fun of it. So it was fun to that extent, anyway. Yeah, let's open this fucker up and check it out. We got all the instruction manuals yet. This is going to be worth money in 20 years. Either that or it's going to end up in a fucking landfill. Now, as the title suggests, it's a two-player game. But let's look at the controller first. Both controllers look like this. The main system of it, like the main controller of it, the one that houses all the circuitry and stuff, and the ROMs and all that kind of stuff, it's got weight. The plastic feels alright. It's got this weird D-pad. It's just one big button, and it's really shitty. And we're gonna get to that in the gameplay in a second, but it's got like all these arrows on it. I'm assuming it's supposed to simulate what a ColecoVision controller was, but it's not really designed that much like one. You know, it's got up, down, you know, left, right. That you got your diagonal buttons, and you got your start and select, like all the other plug-and-play systems. There's a home button up on top if you just want to go back home and escape whatever shit game you're playing. You got an X and a Y button, and an A and a B button. Even though most of the games on this thing don't require that many buttons to play. Now, let's say a second player wants to play in on this shit, get in on the action. It's kind of weird. Here's your second controller right here, and this one feels really cheap, the second controller. You can tell there's like nothing in here. It's like really hollow and just really, really insanely light. And you just daisy chain it into this controller here. Voila! Second player. There you go. Now, I never really had a ColecoVision system growing up. I never really got to play one. I played a little bit of one very briefly a long-ass time ago when I was still a kid. So I don't really know. I didn't really know if these games were the exact ColecoVision ROMs or if they're like shit games just based on ColecoVision stuff. But I got my answer once I looked at the instruction booklet. There's a page in there that says it's not related to anything that has to do with the ColecoVision. So basically, this thing's just using the Coleco name to help sell this thing and, you know, try to pull at your nostalgia strings to get you to want to buy this thing. It's kind of like the Coleco Chameleon thing that was going on for a while back in the day when it was just some big Kickstarter scam. And they're telling everyone they had this like big project. It was going to bring back the days of old gaming, and it just turned out it was just a Super Nintendo circuit board inside of an Atari Jaguar shell, and they tried selling it that way and fucked over a bunch of Kickstarter backers. That could be a whole nother video all by itself, which we won't get into. You can go look it up if you like. We need to focus on this shit. So without further ado, let's play some goddamn Coleco. Okay, back to our normal plug-and-play activities here. This one, much like almost every other plug-and-play, is comprised of a bunch of mini-games again. And there's a lot on here to cover. So let's get to it and let's play ColecoVision, but not ColecoVision. First game on the list is soccer. You only use left and right, and the controls are really delayed. Now the colors are always changing, indicating when it's your turn to go, but it's just all over the place and it's weird and it doesn't feel right when you try to play it. The game almost feels like it plays itself. You never feel like you're really in control. Once again, there's absolutely no hope of ever scoring a goal or defending your goal against the other team. First game on the list, and it's a throwaway game. So let's go on to the next one. Basketball. This one is exactly the same as soccer. You purely play defense. You move left and right only, and that's it. Feels the same as soccer, or it almost plays itself, and you have no hope of ever scoring. Kind of like the skinny wimp or the fat kid in high school. No hope of scoring. Ugh. First two games on here, not a very good first impression. Next game is baseball. The controls on here are different, but atrocious. You hit with A, and B is supposed to run, but you have to sit through the first team to play, and that's when you see it's set up for you to lose. They'll always be able to hit better and run faster than you ever will. It's unfair, it's shitty, and it's just a pure waste. Alright, moving on to football. Football! Gotta have fucking football, right? Shit, I'm doing this for the holidays. You can't have the holidays without fucking football. The fucking pack is back, man. Alright, let's move on here. So the controls suck, of course. Right and left work, but players phase in and out of existence and things happen. That's the best way I can describe it, is just things happen. That's kind of out of your control. It's not playable. I couldn't figure it out. Sometimes there's a word box that comes up giving you the option to pass or run or whatever, but I've never been able to do anything. What's up with the field anyway? I mean, is it supposed to be winter? Because usually a football field's green. It's shit. Pure shit. Now let's move on to the next game. Hockey. And, well, remember soccer and basketball? Yeah, it's the same thing. Next. The next one is car racing. Another racing game. Is this one any better than Ford Racing? Let's see here. Well, you can choose a difficulty. You can choose the track length and the car type. Normal or sport? Ooh, I wonder what the sport one is. Is it faster? Well, no. Just one looks a little more fancier than the other one, I guess. Controls are simple and standard, I guess. The D-pad steers. A is gas. B is brakes. It's easy enough to remember. You can't move up, you're fixed at one place on the screen, and it's just abysmal. You can only go left and right. Just hold A and avoid the cars until the end. Imagine a whole game that's just purely the driving stage from the NES Ghostbusters. That's all it is. And much like Ford Racing, even if you choose the shortest track, it seems like it just goes on and on forever, for all of eternity. Much like I've said in every other plug-and-play video, it's just mindless, hopeless, on and on for eternity. Why am I here? What's the reason I'm living? What's the point of my life? Alright, let's move on. Next game is boxing. It kind of reminds me of a boxing game I played on a ColecoVision or an Atari from years past. And that one really fucking sucked too. The controls are just really weird, and I didn't really get anywhere on this. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's like an endless loop. It's another game that's unfair. Controls are simple enough, I guess. X blocks with the left arm while A punches with the left. And Y blocks with the right arm while B punches with that arm. The controls are stiff and you can nearly never hit your opponent. But he can always hit you repeatedly and win. Isn't that special? Next game. Racquetball. It's funner and simpler than the rest because it's like Pong. And Pong was fun for its time, right? It's a little bit crappier than Pong, though. The background looks like fucking puke, man. Like, it looks like shit. I wonder why they chose such a horrible fucking color for that. People that know me personally know that I really hate the color salmon. I got like a phobia of the color salmon. I can't stand it. I don't even like the fish salmon. It makes me fucking puke. The screen looks like puke. It's a perfect circle. It's the circle of puke. The one thing that kind of perplexes me too is like when you play racquetball or like ping pong or whatever, you choose a side, right? Either player is on either side of each other and they hit the ball back and forth. But both players are on the same side of this table and you just kind of take turns. It's shitty but simple and just kind of mindless entertainment. Let's move on. Wall Breaker. Well, you just can't have a plug-and-play game that doesn't rip off Arachnoid or Breakout. The controls are a bit too sensitive on this game, and that's something I really can't understand. How could one game have stiff controls and another have sensitive controls, both on the same device? This thing has very shit consistency. Anyway, the gameplay is pretty classic. Fun, but one thing. What is this sound effect? Can anybody tell me? What does that sound like to you? It's Mario and he gets a power-up. And playing through this, I noticed that they use this sound more than once in the other games. Anyway, let's move on. Sea Defender. Well, here we got another ripoff. It's Missile Command, but less colorful, but plays alright. It's a simple concept that they managed not to fuck up. The sound effects are classic. This one's not too bad, but still, you know, I'd rather just be playing Missile Command. Deep Sea Madness. It's Space Invaders. It's kind of easier than Space Invaders, and the controls are alright, but this is a game that'd be really hard to fuck up. I might be asking for insults here, but as soon as I saw the stingrays, my mind immediately titled this game Steve Irwin's Sea Invader Adventure. Okay, let's move on. Well, we got one last game on this thing. Is this the big finale? Is this the one that's gonna fucking knock our goddamn socks off? Let's see. It's Kung Fu Flycatcher, and This game shits the bed. The only button you use is A, and you just wait for a fly to show up, and hit A just to test your reaction speed. All I have to say is why? Why does this exist? Who thought this up? I don't even know if this was an actual game on an Atari console or a ColecoVision, but it just seems too shitty to actually appear even on one of those consoles. I can't wrap my head around this. They put it as the last game, too. The big finale, the big finish. I mean, don't you usually save the best for last? Isn't that the point of, like, these big marathons and shit? It's supposed to conclude what you already went through, but I guess it's a good reflection on what this thing is. Just pure shit. To be fair, the one time I had fun playing this is when I actually played it with my brother-in-law. Like I mentioned earlier. It's just fun playing something like this with someone else and just discovering how shitty something can be and just making fun of it. Hey, all in all, the graphics and the sound are alright for something like this. It's very ColecoVision. It's very Atari 2600, which is what you can expect out of something like this. I mean, the name says Coleco on it, even though it has nothing to do with Coleco. I don't think it got any approval for it. For some reason, I hate this thing a little less than the others, even though it should be worse. But I think it's because I have a special place in my heart for games like the Atari 2600 and the ColecoVision, the Intellivision, all those really old, like, 4-bit and, like, 8-bit games. So this thing is kind of forgivable, but there's still really no point for this thing to even exist. Yeah, there you have it! One big marathon of fucking awfulness. Alright, it's like I said a few times, this was fun playing with another player, because you can sit there and rip it apart, and just make fun of all the stupid shit on it. I still can't wrap my head around the fucking fly-catching game. The fuck? Is it worth $20? Well, I have the actual box sitting right here, with the original price right on it yet, it's right up here. Good old JCPenney was selling this thing for $25, $24.99. Nope. Sorry, not worth it. Not worth $25. It's $1/4 of $100. Fuck. Anyway, guys, I'm glad to say that we've gotten through the worst of it. And we're going to go on to the last 3 in this series of the 12 days of plug and plays. And it's all smooth sailing down here. The rest of them are all good ones. So tune in to the next 3, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.